Let's stop here and rest a minute, Jim.
Okay, but only for a minute. We still have a ways to go.
Yeah. Look at the houses way down in the valley. They sure look little, don't they?
That's because we're so far above them.
Listen. You can't hear a single sound. We could be lost up here in the wilderness, freezing and starving to death, and no one would ever find us. Everything is so still and white.
Well, we couldn't be lost, silly, because there's the trail, plain as can be, going right between all those pine trees. And you couldn't starve either, not after the dinner you just ate.
We could pretend, couldn't we?
Oh, not now. We're going up the mountain to see Uncle Ben, remember?
Yeah, and Ma said we had to get back before dark or else.
So we better stop fooling around and start climbing again.
All right.
We haven't seen Old Ben since Christmas.
Mother says it's rude to call him Old Ben and disrespectful to call him just Ben.
Yeah, I know. So we're supposed to call him Uncle Ben.
He isn't really our uncle, is he?
Of course not. You know that. He's lived alone in his little cabin on the mountain for 35 years. Dad says he's a hermit.
A hermit is a kind of cookie.
Oh, you know what I mean. I want to know if he's finished carving that sailboat yet. It's sure going to be a beauty.
You just hope he'll give it to you, that's why.
He might. After all, he carved a little Dutch girl for you.
Yeah, but a sailboat's lots bigger than a Dutch girl.
Well, sure. But after all, I'm bigger than you. And besides, I'm a boy.
Hello there, everyone.
Hi there, boys and girls.
Welcome to Story Hour Time.
In just a moment, Aunt Sue is going to have an exciting true-to-life story for us about the adventures of Jim and Susan.
It's an exciting one, which I call
Lost.
Susan and Jim Willis lived with their parents in a North Woods logging camp. It was the type of place some people call God's country, with majestic pine and fir trees covering the rolling slopes. About 2 miles up one of these slopes lived old Ben Erickson, whom the children affectionately called Uncle Ben. But because of the ruggedness of the country, the children were unable to visit him very often during the winter months. Today, however, after an early morning snowfall, the sun suddenly broke through the clouds shortly after dinner, causing the valley to sparkle and glisten.
Jim, look outside. Isn't it pretty? The sun shining on the snow makes it sparkle like lots of diamonds.
How do you know what lots of diamonds look like? You've never seen any.
Well, it's still pretty. There, we've got all the dishes done.
It'd be a nice day for skiing.
I'm going to ask Mother if I can go for a walk. It's been a long time since we've had a day like this.
Say, why don't you ask her if we can go see Uncle Ben?
Hey, yeah, that's a good idea.
Mom, we want to go up and see Uncle Ben today. May we?
Please, Ma, we haven't seen him in such a long time.
And it's such a nice day.
Well, I don't know. Did you finish washing and drying the dinner dishes?
Yes,
Mother.
Well, it's a long ways up there, and it'll be hard walking in all this snow.
Oh, Mom, we walk in this deep snow all the time.
Yes, but not so far. Besides, it might storm again.
Oh, Mother, look at it outside. It's a beautiful day. It's not gonna storm.
Just the same.
We'll be careful.
Please, Mom.
Oh, all right. But see to it that you are careful and don't take any chances.
Oh, goody, I'll go get the boots and coats.
Now, just wait a minute, young lady. I want you to wear your heavy snow pants. It's plenty cold outside, and if it starts to cloud up like it's going to snow, I want you to start right home.
Yes, Mother.
In any case, I want you to promise that you'll be home before dark. I don't want you to try coming down those slopes at night. Understand?
Yes, Mother.
We'll be back in time for supper.
It didn't take the children very long to put on their wraps and get started on their way. It was a beautiful, clear winter afternoon, and even though the snow was deep, it was easy to see where the trail led between the white blanketed evergreen trees. In the quietness of the wilderness, Susan couldn't help feeling a little bit frightened, wondering what it would be like to be lost in such surroundings. She was glad that her brother Jim was with her, even if he did sometimes act like he knew everything. The bright winter sun was just starting to go behind a small gray cloud as they climbed up the last steep hill, went over the top and down the slope. Then they were at Uncle Ben's cabin.
It looks like it's going to snow again, Jim.
Yeah, probably tonight.
I wonder if he's home.
Of course he's home. He's always home. Hi, Uncle Ben.
Well, I declare. Is that Susan and Jimmy under all those wraps? It looks more like walking snowmen. Come in, come in. Yeah, here, let me help you get these wet things off. It certainly is a pleasant surprise to have you come and see me like this. Now, you two sit right here by the fire, and I'll get some of my socks for you to wear until yours dry out. And then you two will have to tell me what you've been up to.
The winter afternoon passed quickly by, with both Susan and Jim trying to talk at once. They told Uncle Ben about all the things they had done and enjoyed since their last visit. Then the old man brought out his beautifully carved sailboat.
Oh, look, Uncle Ben finished the sailboat. Isn't it a beauty?
May I have the honor of presenting this Viking ship to Mr. James Willis?
Oh, Uncle Ben, do you mean it? Is it really for me? Thank you. Thank you. It's perfect.
This isn't just a plain sailboat, you know. It's a copy of an old Viking ship, the kind that my ancestors sailed on the North Atlantic long ago.
I know. This is like the ship they came in to discover North America. What a masterpiece. You sure are a good carver, Uncle Ben.
Well, I have lots of time to fiddle around, and it gives me something to do. How about it? Would you like me to give you a lesson in wood carving?
Would I? That'd be great.
By the way, you know, Jim, I sure wish I had a little lady to tidy up now and then. A house needs a woman to put it in order, you know, especially the kitchen.
I'll do it, Uncle Ben, while you give Jim his carving lesson. But watch out that he doesn't cut off a finger. Uncle Ben does do a pretty good job of keeping house, for a man anyhow. Just as soon as I finish sweeping the floor, I should be all done. Here's one of his carvings. I wonder what it's doing on the woodpile. Surely he wouldn't be throwing it away. I'd better go ask him. Uncle Ben?
Yes?
I found this little doll on the woodpile by the stove in the kitchen. You weren't going to throw it away, were you?
Well, more or less. Actually, I intended it to throw it your way, if you like it.
Really? Oh, thank you, Uncle Ben. It's perfect.
I thought maybe a little Norwegian girl would make good company for your little Dutch doll.
Jim, look outside.
It's snowing hard.
And it's getting awful dark. We forgot to watch the time, and we've stayed too long. What are we going to do?
Well, now, it's my fault. I should have kept watch. We better snap to it. Coats and boots fast now and be gone. You know the way, and it's easier going downhill than coming up. The storm won't seem so bad when you get out in it. It won't seem so dark either.
Well, I think I better leave my Viking ship here with you, Uncle Ben. It's kind of hard carrying it in the storm, and I'd hate to fall and break it.
That's probably good thinking, Jim. It'll be here waiting for you the next time you come.
Keep my Norwegian doll here, too, Uncle Ben. I might lose it in the snow or something, and that would be awful.
Well, all right. I'll take care of your carvings for you. Now, you'd better be on your way. All set?
Yep, we're ready. Bye, Uncle Ben.
Bye, Uncle Ben.
Bye now. Take care of yourselves.
Facing the blowing snow, Jim and Susan soon realized it could be a grim adventure to be out on the mountain at night in such a heavy storm. But bravely they trudged on.
Why did God make a storm just because we stayed up here too long?
God didn't make it snow. It snowed because the clouds are full of moisture, and they run into the mountains, and, the moisture gets cold and turns to snow, and something like that. Dad's told us lots of times. Anyhow, God gave us sense enough to start home before dark, but we didn't. Now hurry up.
I'm going as fast as I can. I can't see anything except snow.
Well, hang on to my coattail. I'll lead you. Besides, we have to stay together.
Snow, go away. Jimmy, I'm scared.
Just like a girl. You stay with me and you'll be all right. I'll lead you right to our doorstep.
Jimmy, where are we? It doesn't feel like we're going down anymore.
You're right, it doesn't. That must mean we're at the bottom of the first hill and in the valley. Before you know it, we'll be home.
Let's stop and rest a minute. I'm awfully tired.
Oh, all right. I'm kind of tired too. But if we don't get home pretty soon, Mom and Dad'll start to worry.
After resting a short time in the shelter of the valley trees, Jim suddenly jumped up and started beating his hands and stomping his feet to warm himself. Then he became alarmed.
Susan, there's no up or down here in this flat valley.
And it's sure getting awfully cold. Maybe we'll warm up when we start walking, huh, Jim?
Maybe so, but I'm not sure which way to go.
Toward home, of course.
Remember this morning you wanted to pretend we were alone and lost on the mountain? Well, I think we are.
You mean you really can't tell which way to go?
I can't tell which way we came from or anything. We're lost in this terrible storm.
I didn't mean I really wanted to be lost. I just was pretending. Are you sure you don't know where the trail is?
No, I tell you, I don't even know which way is down. We're lost, that's all.
Oh, Jim, I'm so cold and scared, and I want to go home.
Oh, Susan, don't cry. We're lost, and it's a scary thing, but we've got to keep our heads and not panic. We've got to use all the sense we have.
Won't God help us? Won't He help us anyway, even if we were careless?
Well, sure, I guess so. But we have to do all we can, too. We just can't sit here in the snow, and ask God to take us home.
I know that's silly, but at least we could pray. Then maybe I'd feel better.
Okay. Dear Jesus, we know we were careless and didn't watch the weather and time like we should have. We're sorry. Now we're terribly lost on this mountain. Please help us get home. Amen.
Wolves!
No, that's not wolves. Coyotes maybe, but not wolves. Dad says there aren't any wolves near here. Coyotes won't hurt anyone. There's nothing to be scared of.
But they sure make an awful noise. It's scary.
Hey, Susan, doesn't that sound something like Mr. Allingham's old hound dog?
Maybe, but we couldn't hear him way up here, could we?
I don't know. Sometimes sound carries a long way, and if it's a dog, it must be down at the camp. Nobody'd be out on a night like this.
We are.
Well, nobody else. Listen carefully. Maybe we can follow the sound and it will lead us home.
Slowly they trudged on, courageously facing the storm, hoping that they were following the howls from a neighbor's dog. After they had gone what seemed to be miles in the deepening snow, Jim stopped suddenly.
Susan, where do your feet think they're going? Up or down?
I don't know. Up, I guess.
Mine too. And we should be going down by now, or at least on the level of the upper valley. We sure shouldn't be going up.
You mean we're even loster than before?
Well, maybe. I don't know. I guess we can't tell where that sound is coming from.
Can you tell directions by the way the wind blows?
Not up here you can't. It seems to blow in all directions at once.
I wish Daddy'd come and get us and take us home.
I wonder where those children are. They should be home by now.
They promised they'd be back before dark. I can't understand it. They usually can be depended on to keep their word.
Oh, probably with the storm it got dark quicker than they expected.
But still, they should have been here by now. Oh, I never should have let them go up to Uncle Ben's today, but it was so nice. Now they're out in this terrible storm, and
Now,
I'm
don't worry,
worried.
dear. I'm sure they're all right. Perhaps when the storm came, they decided to stay all night at Uncle Ben's.
But he doesn't have extra blankets and things. They can't stay there.
Well, maybe I'd better go up and get them.
Oh, I wish you would. I'll not rest easy until those children are back here at home.
Get my lantern ready while I get my heavy clothes on.
Come in out of the storm. Oh, it's you, Mr. Willis. I couldn't see you very good outside the door. Is something wrong?
No. Well, at least I don't think so. I just thought I should come up and get Susan and Jim.
Susan and Jim? Well, aren't they home? They left here several hours ago.
You mean they're not here?
No.
They're out in that storm someplace?
Well,
I'd better start trying to find them.
Well, wait a minute. Well, I get my things on and I'll come with you. I'll take my horn, too. That sound will carry quite a distance and they'll recognize it.
It's going to be hard finding them in this weather. Can't see 2 feet ahead of you.
It's all my fault. I never should have let them start out. But it wasn't snowing very hard then, and I was sure those two could make it home.
My guess is that it was snowing a lot harder in the valley than at your cabin, and they got confused when they couldn't see.
Well, probably.
Let's start looking there first, anyhow.
But while Father and Uncle Ben fought the fury of the blizzard searching for the 2 lost children, Susan and Jimmy, tired, confused, and scared, were wandering through the trees hoping to find some familiar landmark.
Come on, Susan. Let's try going this way. We just can't stand still, that's for sure. Maybe this is a new direction.
Ouch!
What was that?
I bumped into a tree.
Well, watch where you're going.
But I can't see a thing. It's so dark and snowy.
Ouch! That's another tree. I see what you mean. We're gonna have to be more careful or we'll knock ourselves out on these big trees we can't see.
Oh, why doesn't Daddy come? I wish I was home.
So do I, but we aren't, and we have to make the best of it. And even if Daddy did try and find us, he couldn't because of this awful storm. Ouch!
What's the matter? Hit another tree?
Oh, that's too big to be a tree.
What is it then? Nothing out here but trees.
Feels like a wall or something.
Hey, Jim, here's a corner. Must be your house or... Say, this couldn't be Uncle Ben's cabin, could it?
No, I don't think so. But I have an idea where we are now. At least sort of, anyhow. Only I still don't know how to get home. Remember one time Uncle Ben told us about a hunter's cabin way up in the high valley. The men sometimes stay there when they're out looking over timber, too. Hey, I guess this is the door.
Don't go in. Bears might sleep in there.
No, silly. The windows are boarded up and the door's closed. Bears don't close doors, except maybe in a circus.
Is it locked?
I don't know. Let's try to shove it open. Then we can at least get out of the storm.
It's even darker in here than it is outside.
Just about the scariest place we've been in, huh?
I guess so. And colder, only the cold isn't moving around as much.
Ow, ouch!
What's that?
A table, I guess. Nothing dangerous.
Here's a chair. All we need is a light and some fire to be real cozy.
And food. It's been hours since we ate. Ow! That hurt. Ow! This place has the hardest stuff in it.
What is it?
I don't know. Here, see if you can figure it out. But be careful, it's hard.
Let's see. It's sort of round, and here's a flat part in front. Oh, I know. It's a stove. A Quebec heater, I think it is. Mom told me about them once. There's a little platform out there.
That's what bumped me in the shins.
And a fat round firebox.
That punched me in the nose.
And 4 little funny legs. And back here's a stovepipe. Mom says it gets awful hot.
Did you say hot? Sounds good. My bones are shivering. Bears, mountain lions. Hey, beat it. Scat, mountain slide, earthquake. Get out of here, Susan.
Oh, sure, you're so funny. It's not all those awful things. I just bumped into a pile of wood and knocked a bunch of stuff in the corner. But you sure sound silly. Bears, mountain lions.
Very funny. Here I am ready to risk my life to save you, and you laugh. You're all right, then?
I've got 1,000 bruises. Help me out. There's heaps of wood and boxes and cans and all sorts of things on top of me.
Wood? Did you say wood? We can build a fire.
But we don't have any matches.
A fellow always has matches in his pocket. Now, come on, let's get started on this fire business. Say, wouldn't this be great fun if it weren't so dark and cold and if we weren't lost?
Well, maybe. But it's really awful.
Jim found that building a fire in the dark, strange place was not an easy task. Moving very carefully to keep from bumping into things, he opened the little door in front of the stove and arranged the wood for his fire. Then he plunged his hand into his pocket for his precious matches.
Oh, of all things, where could they be?
What happened now, Jim?
Oh, no matches after all. I know they were in my right pocket, but they must have fallen out when I fell in the snow or something.
Oh no, that means no fire. It's just hopeless. I think I could stand being lost and hungry if I didn't have to freeze, too.
I know.
Hey, Jim, quick. I have an idea. Do you have a hole in your pocket?
I don't know. Why?
Well, check.
Yeah, here's one.
And you're wearing those heavy snow pants with the warm lining? The ones you don't like to wear, only Mom makes you?
Oh, sure, but...
I think I know where the matches are. Mom's always finding stuff in there when she washes them. Feel inside your pant leg, between the pants and the lining down at the bottom.
Sure enough, here they are.
I'll help you get 'em out.
Pretty clever, for a girl anyhow.
Soon Jim had a fire in the old Quebec heater, and the children felt much better. Now at least they could see, and soon the stove began to radiate warmth as well. As they began to get warm, they dozed into a restless sleep. After what seemed hours, Jim became aware of a strange new sound. Quickly he shook Susan awake.
Susan, wake up. Hear that?
Huh? It's just the wind.
No, it isn't. There isn't any wind now. The storm's over. There it is again. Hear it?
Hey, I know what it is. It's Uncle Ben's horn. He's trying to find us. Let's look.
Oh, help me get this creaky door open again.
I don't see anybody.
Well, look, there's a light coming this way through the trees.
It's a lantern. Must be Uncle Ben.
And there's the horn again, too.
Come on, let's go.
Wait a minute. Uncle Ben! Uncle Ben!
We hear you, Jim. Are you and Susan all right?
Yeah, we're in this cabin.
You stay there. Uncle Ben and I will be there in a minute.
Susan and Jim watched the lantern light as it wobbled closer and closer through the trees. When their father and Uncle Ben finally reached the cabin, both children fell upon them, babbling together in a mixture of laughter and tears.
Jim had a hole in his pockets,
Are you all
and that's
right?
where the matches were. And
Oh,
the bands
Susan,
and
you
the
don't make
wolves
any
and
sense.
the
We
earthquake.
we thought it might be Mr. Allingham's dog, and we heard, and it wasn't wolves. Only we couldn't follow the sound.
And Jim said we had to keep our heads, and then God would help us. Did God help us, Jim?
Well, of course God helped. He led us to the cabin. I guess he probably helped us to think what to do, about the matches and fire and stuff. Hey, Dad, how did you know we were lost and where to find us?
Well, when the storm came up and you weren't home, I went to Uncle Ben's to get you, only to discover that you weren't there.
That's right.
And we've been hunting all night, and we were getting plenty worried, too. Then when it stopped snowing and the moon came out, we saw the smoke from your fire. Uncle Ben figured it must be coming from this old cabin. Guess God helped us, too, Susan.
Well, he always does, you know. Only we have to do our part and work mighty hard ourselves.